Hello, viewers of Fate or Foolishness. I wanted to provide some background and information about Campaign 1 as we approach our start date of May 1st at 6 p.m. At this point, there are interviews with all players involved in Campaign 1 on our YouTube channel if you are looking for more info about us. This video is going to be covering more about the setup and expectations for our group moving forward. Firstly, let's talk about Illoxar. Illoxar is the fantasy world that I created that I run all of my TTRPGs within. There is a mythos and a ton of details, but this is not the video for all of that. Instead, I'll give the minimum amount about the world, but here is the time to skip to if you want to avoid that. It started with core concepts in a void: death, time, magic, chaos, life, memory, and will. They existed within nothingness until will gathered the empty concepts and imparted a piece of itself to all other concepts. The concepts then gained sentience and fought to gain control of the power that the other concepts held. After a lot of fighting, chaos was eventually consumed by death and time. They created two sides between them, where the concepts that had not consumed chaos were gathered against the sides that had. After more fighting and experimentation, they found they could not organically grow their own powers. So they entered a stalemate. Later, they discovered that they could grow their power of will within themselves by creating new life that had been exposed to all of the concepts. The growth limit was then removed when it was transferred to a new life, and if the concepts then consumed that power, they could grow beyond these new heights. This led them to make a pact. They would exist primarily in their alliance domains. Magic, life, and memory made the holy realm. Death and time made the hells. They all act in different ways and reclaim the power that they offer to mortals after its growth by a variety of means. The gods are manifestations of life, utilizing only the concepts of power from where they originated. This means that magic, life, and memory would make one type of god, and death and time would make something in the hells. They wouldn't have that intermixed mortal realm. This means that gods cannot grow will to aid the concepts, but act as an intermediary to make concepts' will manifest in individual mortals. These gods can descend to the material plane, but only by offering something of great value to themselves to enemy concepts. The concepts do not interfere with scuffles between gods, so there is an internal power struggle between them as well. There exists several spaces outside of those three major realms. They are generally used to confine gods that have lost their status, but there's also plenty of other exceptions that we will cover. The material realm itself, Illoxar, has been affected by these events in several ways. The most important thing is that the gathering of will is the top priority from the other realms, and their influence manifests in that way. As a result, racial differences are generally not a factor within the world of Illoxar. Creatures capable of rational thought are able to grow their will by magnitudes more than rudimentary creatures, so they are largely favored by the gods as well. In order to direct growth of mortal willpower in the way that suited their concepts, the gods used to focus on developing towns to fit their needs, creating hotspots in a way that would manifest their concepts. This made towns guard their borders much more strongly than borders of even countries. Town lords and ladies were held with the same regard as royalty, as a result creating a variety of strangely unique towns. As time passed, the gods realized that focusing on nurturing champions to great power resulted in a much greater efficiency in the transfer of willpower. There are still many remnants of the old ways in different places across the world, but it's changing with time. Now let's talk about where our story fits into the world today. We will open within the city of Goldhaven. The city is bustling. It serves as a major trade hub to the eastern shelves. Since it has so much natural prosperity, the city appears to be a capital city of a major nation in its structure. Grand halls and stacked trade buildings, vendors floating their shops with magical entrances and space expansion magics to cram more shop space from every nook and cranny. The density has created an unimaginable and beautiful space that makes it so that it's impossible to see everything there is all at once. Every type of district imaginable is present and bustling here. Prices are high, but so are the number of options. Many come here to risk everything in any way they can before trying to make it out with something left. If you are looking for a place to use any set of skills, you can find it within this city. Its border to the east has also created an informational hub, leaving many of the most prestigious institutions all gathered in this one spot. In Illoxar, if you're trying to make something big out of yourself, you do it in Goldhaven. Our players will find themselves acting on their own desires within the city. They will be facing off against the powerful players within this city as they navigate the many trials that come from a life within the chaos. We will be laying down the foundations for players' backgrounds and how they got there in the city within session 0 on May 1st, this Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube and Twitch. Now, I'll talk about the setup for the gameplay. We will all be gathered around this table. It is a table I made to display maps for all players to see during gameplay. I use Foundry VTT for all of my map displays and character placements. I will be using the tool set that is within Foundry as much as possible to aid with gameplay. The maps will be from a combination of whatever I can muster. I use Dungeon Alchemist for a lot of my custom map design, but I will also use battle maps from other people online as I need to fill gaps. The stream and recording will have the layout seen here. I may make some adjustments as needed, but this is kind of it. The audio is 5 SM7Bs with each person and an LED panel for lighting on 2 sides of the table, as well as a light for me. I will be viewing all relevant info to the streams on the screens behind the DM screen. If there are audio issues or anything, I will be monitoring chat a little bit, so you can let me know there easily. The players will not have access to any info, including the chat, to keep things immersive, so they will not be able to respond to anything that you might ask them, but I can try and pass it along. Roles will be called out loud by players as they are made for the audience, but GM roles will remain a secret unless otherwise stated. Now let's talk about the system itself. The system is what I've been calling Dungeons and Daggers. It is a homebrew system that has a ton of changes. The most important thing is that the base is Daggerheart, and that it integrates some parts of D&D and a lot of custom things. The actual rules are not going to be published anywhere because I don't know how to navigate the legal landscape of that, and there is no reason for me to do that. Instead, I recommend that you watch many hours of our gameplay until you just innately understand the rules, and then you'll be set. The only odd thing will be the playtest content. I will be using some classes from the Void as they fit character design in our group very well. When the playtest material does release, I'll be using the new material in a couple of months, so that will change bit gameplay slightly. As far as schedule, you can expect us to be live at 6:30 p.m. every other Friday starting on May 29th after Session 1. Session 1 is live on May 15th at 6 p.m. Session 0 is live on May 1st at 6 p.m. in case you forgot, Eastern Standard Time this Friday. Session 1 and Session 0 start a little earlier to give us extra time to get into it at 6 p.m., but we will then be live at 6:30 p.m. after that. We will expect to play for an average of 3 hours with 1 to 2 breaks depending on needs during the stream. All streams will always remain up on YouTube on this account, so you can catch up on anything you missed at any time. And if you have any other questions about anything to do with Illoxar, you can message me on any of our socials. Thank you, and I'll see you soon. Session 0 this Friday.